In lieu of a clever introduction, I wanted to show you a gift I received recently. This is from a dear Booktube friend who is a subscriber and a viewer. She is a friend to many Booktubers and many creators here in our little corner. This is from Marcia Johansson, and Marcia has she's such a thoughtful, introspective, kind, smart woman, and she has sent me some things over the years I've been on Booktube, and this one was such a treat to receive out of the blue. And she does that. She'll find something and she'll let me know, hey, I wanted to send you something, and it's just something she found out of the blue that she thought I would love, and this is absolutely no exception. This is a hardcover copy of the Cider House Rules, no dust jacket. I don't know if you can see that. This is the Cider House Rules from John Irving. And I thought that's really thoughtful, sending me an additional copy of one of my favorite books. But no, there's more. There's the title page. You can see that rather than my face. And when I looked at the copyright page, which I always do, copyrighted 1985 by Garp Enterprises, this is a first edition. This is a first edition hardback of the Cider House Rules, but even better, gets even better, it's a signed copy. John Irving, signed right there. I opened it and I thought, she probably didn't even notice that. I hope she didn't notice it, because she sent me something that's truly cherished. And Marcia, I want to thank you so much. I've already talked to you, and she's just such a wonderful, wonderful friend. Hey Booktube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March, and this is my bookish week for Sunday, November 30th, because Monday is the 1st. I think I got that right. I finished quite a few books this week. 1, 2, 3. 3 at least, which is pretty good. It doesn't matter that they were fairly fast reads. I don't care. One of them is profound, and I'm going to save that one for last. So let me show you what I finished this week. The first one is called Back After This by Linda Holmes. This is a contemporary romance. This is the third Linda Holmes book I've read. I believe this is her third book. And this did exactly what I wanted it to do. This is a contemporary romance. I wanted to read something fun. I think Greg from Supposedly Fun calls this a cinnamon bun book, and that's what it was. It's a cute story of Cecily, who is a podcast producer. If you hear yelling in the background, that's my daughter and her friend playing video games. Anyway, this is a cinnamon bun book, and Cecily is a podcast producer, and she is working for a company that is not very stable, and they kind of have to have a hit podcast in order to stay afloat. So she agrees, or she's coerced into being the subject of a podcast of 20 dates, 20 first dates, but they declined to name it 20 first dates because of the movie 50 First Dates. And so it's called 20 Dates, and she will be fixed up by Eliza, who is a life coach and a influencer and that sort of thing. And Eliza is going to fix her up on 20 first dates and document everything on the podcast. At the very beginning of this process, she happens to bump into literally a man named Daniel on the street, and they just form a friendship. Daniel happens to be a waiter who waits on her and her very first date, and he's also a photographer, and they just end up bumping into each other all over the place. And plot ensues from there. And Back After This refers to the podcast. Cecily is an worker, a little bit type A, a little bit being there for everybody else, works many, many, many hours, and wants to have a hit on her hands. She is broken up with a man named Justin, who also was a podcaster, and Justin kind of took their work that they did together after they broke up. So it goes on from there. It was a fun read, very fast. It did exactly what, these are supposed to do. It was fun. There is definitely a dog involved. It's a Great Dane, very cute. And yeah, that's that. I did enjoy reading it. I enjoyed the time I spent with it. It wasn't anything deep, and the writing was good. She's very good at kind of the banter. And yeah, I had fun with that one. This one was was a little different. This is Sandwich by Catherine Newman. And I was disappointed with this. I gave it 3 stars because the writing is good. I laughed in a few places. This has a lot to do with menopause, which is funny. The way she wrote it is funny. Menopause is not always funny. I can attest to that. But I was a little disappointed in this because this is a story of a privileged Cape Cod family. They vacation at the same cottage on Cape Cod, and they have for 20 years or so. And it's a couple and their 2 grown children. And the woman in the couple, her parents come sometime during the week. And it's kind of the family memories, family shenanigans. Our main character is named Rocky, and her husband is Nick. Okay, the biggest themes are empty nesting, menopause, middle-aged, taking care of older parents, not really taking care of them, but dealing with older parents' mortality. And there's a lot in here about Rocky, who is reminiscing over her children's lives and reminiscing over when they were small, and some of the secrets that Rocky's been keeping in her life and how they come to light and how they come to the surface and what that does to their family. But I wasn't interested in most of the characters. This is a privileged family, a lot of situations that I don't relate to. I have a 34-year-old daughter and an 18-year-old daughter. My older daughter's married and has my granddaughter. I never felt the way that she does in the book. I do not yearn for when my children were little, because my children have become such amazing people that I know that they have gone on to do exactly what I raised them to do, to become wonderful people. And there are times when it's like, oh, I wish I could talk to my daughter today, but it's not that I'm yearning to go back to when they were little. I have extremely beautiful memories of those times, but I couldn't relate to her. I couldn't relate to that, her personality. And I was a little bored with this book. It's basically it's back and forth in time with them vacationing on Cape Cod, on the beach, eating lobster, going for food, laughing together, going back to the beach, eating food, laughing together. And then it's interspersed with Rocky looking back in time when her children were toddlers, and how attached she was, and how exhausted she was, and how she feels about her husband, and what menopause is doing to her. So, meh. I was meh about this book, and I won't continue with Catherine Newman. I think she has another one after this one. So it was a little disappointing. It's a very short book, so I did finish it, and I will gladly donate it for somebody else to enjoy. All right, this book. Damn, I doggied the shit out of this book. This is Fahrenheit 451. Why in the world have I never read this in my life until now? Why have I avoided it? Or was it because it was never assigned to me in school? It's assigned all over the place now. What? How did I accidentally avoid this book? Ray Bradbury, this is a book about book burning. And Fahrenheit 451 is the temperature at which books burn. This is the story of a firefighter, Guy Montag, and firefighters in this book are not people who put out fires. They are people who start fires. In this particular book, they are all men. And so his fire hose is not filled with water, it's filled with kerosene. And anytime it's discovered that somebody is secretly collecting books or owning books, the firefighters they burn all the books, and they often burn the house down, sometimes with the residents in it. This is a dystopian novel. There were so far 2 atomic wars. And one of the things that is most profound is that nobody reads. So schools are not like schools where you learn things out of books. You don't learn history. People's homes, the entire wall is basically a TV screen. And they project the same things 24 hours a day. So actually, I think they're allowed to turn off their walls. But this is a such a profound commentary on learning, information, history, books, what people will do to protect their collections, how people feel about what it means to learn, what it means to learn your history, and how the world works. The profound influence, I use profound repeatedly, but the influences over what we've learned over the decades and generations and how we've learned it. Information gathering, information transferring. This book is just absolutely phenomenal. It talks about what makes us happy, what Guy Montag does, because we find out early in the book that he's not like other firefighters. Now, I dog-eared all over the place, but there's one, and I was considering doing an individual review of this book, but I don't really like doing individual reviews. I do want to read a fairly long passage, and I don't always read out loud, but this one kind of meant, this was the one out of the many that I dog-eared and highlighted that I thought this basically summarizes exactly the themes that I pulled out of the book. So please be patient as I read this. Nobody listens anymore. I can't talk to the walls because they're yelling at me. I can't talk to, this is Guy Montag. I can't talk to my wife. She listens to the walls. I just want someone to hear what I have to say. And maybe if I talk long enough, it'll make sense. And I want you to teach me to understand what I read. He's talking to a man named Faber. Faber is an older man who is very clearly educated, and Montag wants to learn from him and wants to talk to him about books, primarily the Bible. And Guy Montag at one point had been married, and his wife was a person who sat in her home watching the walls all day until she fell asleep. And she fell asleep with seashells in her ears to listen and fall asleep with those voices. So it was never quiet, and they never talked to each other, really talked. So Montag is talking to Faber. Faber examined Montag's thin, blue-jowled face. How did you get shaken up? What knocked the torch out of your hands? I don't know. We have everything we need to be happy, but we aren't happy. Something's missing. I looked around. The only thing I positively knew was gone was the books I'd burned in 10 or 12 years. So I thought books might help. You're a hopeless romantic, said Faber. It would be funny if it were not serious. It's not books you need. It's some of the things that once were in books. The same things could be in the parlor families today. The same infinite detail and awareness could be projected through the radios and televisors, but are not. No, it's not books at all you are looking for. Take it where you can find it, in old phonograph records, old motion pictures, and in old friends. Look for it in nature and look for it in yourself. Books were only one type of receptacle where we stored a lot of things we were afraid we might forget. There is nothing magical in them at all. The magic is only in what books say, how they stitch the patches of the universe together into one garment for us. Of course you wouldn't know this. Of course you still can't understand what I mean when I say all this. You are intuitively right. That's what counts. 3 things are missing. Number 1, do you know why books such as this are so important? Because they have quality. And what does the word quality mean? To me, it means texture. This book has pores. It has features. This book can go under the microscope. You'll find life under the glass, streaming past in intimate profusion. The more pores, the more truthfully recorded details of life per square inch you can get on a sheet of paper, the more literary you are. That's my definition anyway. Telling detail, fresh detail. The good writers touch life often. The mediocre ones run a quick hand over her. The bad ones rape her and leave her for the flies. So now do you see why books are hated and feared? They show the pores in the face of life. The comfortable people want only wax moon faces, poreless, hairless, expressionless. We are living in a time when flowers are trying to live on flowers instead of growing on good rain and black loam. Even fireworks, for all their prettiness, come from the chemistry of the earth. Yet somehow we think we can grow, feeding on flowers and fireworks, without completing the cycle back to reality. To me, that speaks to how powerful books are and what is contained in books. There are lifetimes contained in books, and it's not the object itself that are magical, although for many of us who are passionate readers, we might disagree with that, and I actually tend to disagree, but he's right when he says it's what the books contain. that's magical. And when I think about that intensely, I realize the people who want to censor and the people who want to ban books, that's what they know. They know that books contain power, and they're afraid of that. They're afraid of what people will know, what people can learn. They're afraid of being offended. They're afraid of being knocked out of their ignorance or their complacency or their avoidance of the world. And that's what hit me so fully in this book. I will read this again and again. This was just magnificent. And it's such a short novel. I think it's around 150 pages. This particular edition, it's the 60th anniversary edition. It has commentary by Ray Bradbury at the end, along with a lot of reviews and when this book came out. So absolutely amazing reading experience of Fahrenheit 451. Right now, I am currently reading one book, and I'm loving it. I am loving this book. This is Barbara Pym's novel, Some Tame Gazelle. I think this was her first novel. I'm pretty sure it was. And this is modeled after Barbara Pym and her sister. This is the story of Belinda and Harriet Bede. They are unmarried, middle-aged sisters living in the heart of a village parish. Plump Harriet likes to tuck young, pale, thin curates under her substantial wing, while the more circumspect Belinda potters through her life, comfortably loving the archdeacon from afar. Barbara Pym had a sister Hilary, and Belinda and Harriet are modeled after her and her sister. And this is such a charming, cozy Barbara Pym book. It is the sisters who live in a very small English village with a parish, and they have come to the conclusion in life that they will spend the rest of their life as spinsters together. I love Barbara Pym. I love this world. I love the setting. I love the coziness. I love everything about it. Pym can be extremely funny. Her characters in a short novel are very rich. I love the fact that there's always a curate or a vicar or a priest or somebody. There's a church. There's church community. Much of the drama revolves around the church. And so this is just a delight to read. I think this is the fourth Pym book that I've read, and I've loved them. I've got a few more in my collection and a few more to acquire before I am done with Barbara Pym. And they're just wonderful books. That is it for me. Oh, one more quick thing. Fun fact, I had no idea Barbara Pym existed until I started Booktube. No idea. I had never heard of her. And what a charming day that I discovered her book. The first book, I think, was Quartet in Autumn, which I absolutely love. I think that's my favorite Barbara Pym so far. That's it for me. That's all I have. And let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books. Let me know what you think. If you've read Fahrenheit 451, I would love to know. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.